Dude, I was so right about so many things with this DLC, what the heck? What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebrous Infinite, and this here is a early kind of first impressions review of the Vaas Insanity DLC. And there's just like 3 things that I gotta say about it right off the bat here. Freaking beautiful, freaking amazing, holy shit! It's exactly what I had hoped for a roguelike in Far Cry 6, or in Far Cry in general, and it is so much fun to play through. With randomizing elements like the powers and traits that you pick up along the way, the grind for currency, the grind for cash, and revisiting all of these classic locations on Rook Island as just a quick elevator spit take, 10 out of freaking 10, man. But to really get into it here, the randomizing element of powers is a much more addictive gameplay loop in a roguelike than I kind of thought it was going to be. There's a lot of things that they've turned and taken into powers here in the game, and it's created this real interesting synergy of trying to get powers from the people you're taking down, trying to get powers from the chests along the way, and then getting powers from completing main missions in the game. And the missions themselves are a lot of fun. They break up the pace of you going around and taking down dudes and doing these kind of combat trials for the armory quests that will unlock you weapons along the way, and then just general combat as you're moving through the map. And they kind of give you a bit of brevity to do some maybe light puzzle solving or something like that along the way, alongside giving you very juicy tidbits of plot that explain a lot of happenings on Rook Island and a lot of backstory behind Vaas and his interrelation with some of the characters in the game that you maybe wouldn't have expected. You also get a really sick, different visual kind of vibe from the DLC in comparison to the base game, with floating ash and raining blood and giant frickin' sharks floating through the air. It's a trip and very fitting for Vaas's mind. Even though it's not the biggest area, it's still a lot bigger than the special operation areas, so you get quite a good chunk of map to explore here. But the idea is not to have a map that you get settled down in. The idea is to run through the map really quickly, kind of going through the motions of the roguelike, picking up loot and gathering cash, so that way you could go back to your main base and upgrade your weapons and upgrade your own personal traits that you could then carry over. And the other kind of cool thing about this DLC is, similar to the special operations, you can return to this DLC and take it on at a higher challenge level, and this could potentially really change things up for how the DLC will play and feel, especially in terms of how difficult the enemies are. Far Cry's not an insanely challenging game, but when you're surrounded by a whole bunch of enemies that are shooting you all at once, you're gonna die all the same, and this DLC does seem to not hold back when it comes to the amount of enemies you have to fight. If you ever need to save your game, you just need to head back to the main base in order to save if you need to, like, stop playing or whatever. But the interesting thing is there's no fast travel, so you need to actually foot it to the main base or different safe houses across the map. All in all, personally, as somebody that's been looking forward to this DLC for a very long time, I gotta say I'm very impressed, and I think that this was well worth the wait here. It is almost comparatively better than the base game in terms of its gameplay here, and it just has me excited for what the future installments of these Villains DLC are going to look like in the future. So, I want to know, what are your thoughts on the Vaas Insanity DLC so far, if you are playing it? If not, I highly advise you pick it up, because it greatly adds to the Far Cry 6 experience. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Maybe consider subscribing if you haven't, and leaving a like on the video greatly helps out small channels like myself, and it's appreciated if you do. But cheers, folks, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.